Hello there and welcome to the Card Grotto. Today I've got my craft room tour to share with you for 2019. I tend to do these every year. Not a huge amount has changed since the last one, but I have definitely changed a few things around, so I hope you enjoy watching. I do just want to mention that I do have a lot of stuff. If you are a new crafter, please bear in mind that you do not need this amount of stuff. I have been crafting for over 15 years now, and obviously I have built up quite a collection during that time, and I've been very fortunate enough to work with lots of different companies, so I did just want to mention that. So to start off with, I'm going to talk about these shelves here on the wall as you come into my craft room on the left hand side. These are MOSSLANDA picture shelves from Ikea, and I like them because they're not very deep, but you can actually hold a lot on them. I have a candle holder there and a tin that holds my cables for my cameras. I've got a card there from my friend Lisa, and then I have a frame from my friend Sarah, and that says, "I just want to make beautiful things even if nobody cares." And then I have some enamel pins on an embroidery hoop. Below that on the two shelves I have my liquid watercolours, and I really love storing them in this way. I think they're really pretty, kind of lined up in colour order, and you can fit about 3 layers of them, or like 3 deep I should say. So on the middle shelf here I have my Dr. P.H. Martin's Radiant watercolours, and then I've got some Bombay inks, and then I have the Hydrus line on the bottom there, and also my Hero Arts liquid watercolours. Like I said, I really like them stored this way, but they do get a bit dusty, so please do bear that in mind if you're going to store them in that way as well. And then I just have a notice board on my wall there with the assignments that I need to do for the month, and then this is my computer desk. So I just have my computer there, my microphone and my printer. And then underneath the desk I have some units from Ikea. These are called HELMER units, and they're kind of like mini filing cabinets. They're made of metal, and I really like them because they are quite narrow, but they are actually really quite deep, so you can hold a lot in them. So this first bank of drawers here is mainly kind of stationery office type items, but I'm going to go through them quickly with you. So the first drawer here just holds like post-it notes, clips, paper clips, that kind of thing. The next drawer here holds my Filofax and some notebooks. The next drawer is what I call happy mail, so things that I like to decorate little parcels with to send out. So I've got some tags there, some journaling cards, some washi tape strips and some paper bags there. The next drawer down is lots of different pens, so I have my Arteza Twee markers, I have some Stabilo fine liners and various different pens in there. The next one down is just general kind of stationery items. I have my label maker, another pencil case full of pens, a mini clipboard, and then the bottom drawer is mainly paperwork. This bank of drawers here holds a lot of colouring mediums. So there's a little gap at the top and I just have some boards there and also a pad of Archie's watercolour paper. In the first drawer I have my Arteza real brush markers, and then I have a pencil case with some watercolour pencils in. The next drawer here is lots of different pencils, so I have my Arteza colour pencils, I have some Inktense pencils, my Faber-Castell Polychromos, some Inktense blocks, and then I have some watercolour pencils at the bottom. And I like to keep my blending stumps in with my pencils so that they're all together kind of ready to go if I want to blend out with Gamsol or anything like that. The next drawer down is my watercolours, so I have some watercolour palettes with Daniel Smith and Winsor & Newton paints in, and then I have a tin there with gouache in. I have some Gansai Tambi paints, I have my peerless watercolours in the book that I made, some dot sheets, and then also the Altenew watercolours as well. I like to, like I said, try and keep everything in kind of the same place. So this is all my accessories for watercolour. I've got some plastic palettes on the top. I've got a reusable cloth that I like to use with watercolouring. Some porcelain palettes. I have my water cups in there as well. At the back I have some Distress Ink mini cube tins. These are the ones that you would keep the mini Distress Inks in, and I like to have my tube watercolours in there, so I just have one with warm tones in and then also one with cool tones in. I just really like those tins and I use them quite a bit around my craft room for different things. Got my water cups there and just general kind of watercolouring supplies. The next drawer down is more colouring mediums, so I have some distress crayons again in one of the same tins, and then also some glitter pens there as well. I've got some drawing pencils in the Derwent tin, my distress markers at the back, and also some Neo colours. And then right at the bottom here is all of my paper, so like mainly watercolour paper, but I do have some drawing paper in there as well, and some mixed media paper. So this side here is more what I call of my crafting side. So I've got my crafting desk there, and then all of my things on my crafting desk. And then on the wall here I have some shelves. These are from the Great Little Trading Company. And these are mainly decorative. I just have some decorative items on there. But I do have some washi tape in these. These are actually plant pots from Ikea, but they hold washi tape really well. They don't get too dusty, which is quite nice. And so I just have all of my washi tape in 2 of those. I really like having them there just to grab. And then on the other shelf, again, mainly decorative items, a succulent and some faux succulents as well. And then I have 2 jars here with my paintbrushes in. One of them holds more higher end watercolour brushes, and then the other one holds kind of like craft brush type things. And then I have my mount here for my camera. So if I'm filming videos, it gets mounted on that Manfrotto arm. And then I have a lamp here that I use when I'm filming. This is a Forsa lamp from Ikea. And I do usually have some tracing paper covering the light as a diffuser, but I've finally managed to buy myself a proper diffuser, so I no longer have to have that on my lamp. And then I have a shelf here on the desk. This again is from Ikea, and you buy the legs separately, and it just kind of raises stuff off of your desk, which is quite nice and just gives me a little bit extra room. So I have a tape dispenser there to the left, and then I have my Copic markers in these containers. Unfortunately, the company that I purchased them from no longer exists, but you can get something very similar and Organise More. I haven't found anything in Europe, unfortunately, but you can get those at Organise More in America. And then this is a newer addition to my craft room. These are drawers from Muji, acrylic drawers. On the top I just have my Spellbinder's main attraction, and then a notebook that I write my supplies in when I'm crafting. And then these drawers hold loads of different fine liners and pens. So I've got all of my Copic fine liners in the top one here, and some other type of fine liners. Then I've got my Pigma pens and some Skurar jelly roll pens. And then I've got various different other kind of pens for calligraphy and writing and paint pens. And then I have a few Tombow pens there. And then the bottom drawer holds my most used ink pads. Underneath the shelf I just have lots of various different bowls and things that I use to keep my cloths in. And then I have a magnetic one that I hold my dies that I use the most. They're like sentiment strip dies. And then I have my tool carousel in the corner of my desk. This again is from the Great Little Trading Company. I believe they do still sell it, but they don't have the drawers in it anymore, and they just have kind of sections at the top. But I love this thing. It holds so many different tools, as you can see. So I have everything from adhesives to palette knives to tiny attachers to bone folders, craft knives, again some adhesive at the front, loads of different scissors, rulers, corner rounder, punch, everything in here. And then there's just various different things in the drawers. And then I have a container here. This is an InterDesign container, and usually I keep things that I'm going to use that month. So if I have design team assignments, I keep the stamps in there. At the moment I just have products that I want to use myself. And then I just have my Tim Holtz mat, my glass media mat there on my desk. So moving down underneath my desk I have another one of the HELMER units to the left hand side. In the gap between the two desks, I just have some large cutting mats. On the side, I have a command hook that holds my large roll of foam tape. I have a pouch here at the top, and that holds grids and paper and things like that for my MISTI tools. In the first drawer here is stamping supplies, so I have my acrylic blocks, I have baby wipes, a scrubber pad, the stamps that I use to stamp the back of my cards, some pencil sharpeners, and also a Stamp-A-Majig. The next drawer down I haven't labelled, I'm still unsure what to do with at the moment, but I just have some MFT shaker pouches and some action wobbles in this box here. And then I have a little box with like stamped images and sentiments and things like that that I've cut out and coloured but I haven't used. The next drawer down is my alcohol inks. I have them in the tins from Holtz, and I do have a separate video on how I store and organise my alcohol inks, so I will link that down below. And I just have some supplies that I tend to use with the alcohol inks. The next drawer down is various different tools, so I have some more alcohol ink tools. I have a scrubber brush that I use to clean stencils with. I have alcohol wipes, micro brushes, Swiffer cloths and glue sticks. I've got a tool that you can help to clean blending brushes, and then I have some gloves there at the back. The next drawer down is all organising supplies, so I have like pockets that I use to store my stamps in and stencils and all types of things like that. And then the bottom drawer is really pretty much empty, but I just have some stamps that I still need to put away into my organising system. Underneath my desk I have the stool that I sit on, a dustbin, and then my guillotine and some more cutting mats at the back there, and a larger scoring board, and then an Epicurean board hanging off the side of my Alex unit. So this is the Alex unit here. I wanted some deeper drawers, so I swapped this out for one of my HELMER units, and I really like having this one as well. So on the top again there's a little gap, so I have a craft sheet, some grid paper, and then the water media mat from Waffle Flower. In the top drawer I have what I call essentials, so I have my mini guillotine, I have some mini scoreboards, some masking paper, a little cutting mat, my most used embossing powders, my embossing powder bag, masking tape, coffee filters, and then I have quite a lot of ink blending brushes there in tubs there from InterDesign. So that's kind of like my go-to drawer. Moving down, I have all of my adhesives, so I have quite a lot of score tape and some stick-it sheets. I have tape runners and some masking kind of memo tape, foam tape, liquid adhesive, and then I have some Xyron sticker makers right at the back there in the drawer. The next drawer holds my distress ink supplies. So I stole this idea from Ardith, and these are ink blending tools, and I have them in nail polish holders. I just label the inside of the nail polish holder and laminate that so it doesn't get too dirty, and then I just have the name on the top of the blending tool as well. So all of these on the left hand side are distress inks, my most used distress ink colours, and then I have the oxide ones on the right hand side and some extra foams there at the back. And then this is my distress ink cubes. I just have the mini cubes now, and I have them in the tins from Holtz, and I just label them at the top so it's easy for me to grab what I need. I've had no problem having those stored on their side. The next drawer down I have my most used cardstock. I cut them down into 4 1/4 by 5.5 panels. I do need to refill that. And then I have all of my envelopes there in a tub. These are from Ikea, these tubs, and I have some extra cards and envelopes at the back, and then some card bases that I have cut but not scored. And then at the bottom here I have my mixed media supplies. So I have quite a lot of Nouveau mousse, embellishment mousse, I have some gilding flakes, some texture paste, some distress paint, some other type of acrylic paints, some distress spray stains, and I have my Hero Arts glimmer inks there as well, and again lots of different kind of sprays and things. Anything that's more on the messier side is in this drawer. On the wall here, again next to my window, I have a pegboard from Ikea, and then I have my MISTI tools in these cases that my friend Ruth made for me. And then I have some spray bottles with water in and some stamp cleaner. And then moving down onto the shelves, I have my Distress ink refills, some Nuvo shimmer powders and some mica mist, and then I have lots of different glimmer pastes and the new Glacier paste. And then I also have a brayer, a Cricut brayer, just hanging off the side of the pegboard as well. So underneath that I have my RÅSKOG cot from Ikea. On the side I have the tubs here. This shape has been discontinued, they're square now, but I still quite like those ones. And then I have my heat tools hanging off the side with command hooks. Underneath this dust cover I have my Gemini Junior machine, and that's on top of the HERMA chopping board from Ikea. And I just have that out so that I can die cut quite easily without having to sort of get it in and out. So moving down onto the middle shelf of the RÅSKOG, I have at the front I have some kitchen paper on a little basket, and then I have lots of different colouring mediums. So I have my Zicklin Colour Reel brush pens, I have some colouring pencils, some Altenew alcohol markers, the Nuvo Aquaflow pens, and then I just have a case on the right hand side, and that holds my cutting plates for the Gemini Junior. Underneath the next shelf, so at the bottom, I have 2 boxes here with my Copic refills in, and then on top of those I have some A5 boxes, and they hold my Nuvo alcohol markers. So I just have 2 of those, one at either side. Underneath that HERMA chopping board, in this little case, I just have mainly Cricut supplies. So I have a pouch, again made by my friend Ruth, and that holds my Cricut blades. And then I have some Cricut pens in this one, and I also have a pouch that my friend Sarah made for me, and that holds Cricut tools. I will link to both of their Etsy shops down below. They are both very, very talented. So moving on to the other side of my room, this is the other wall. I have a Hemnes unit, again from Ikea. On the top I have some Ikea boxes, and they hold my wood mounted stamps. And then right at the bottom I just have a little gap there, and that holds some wood blocks that I use for photography. On the top shelf of the unit I have more boxes from Ikea. No, I'm not sponsored by them, but I do have a lot of their stuff. So this holds my larger stamps. So the one on the left hand side has got background stamps in from Hero Arts, and I store them in 6x6 sleeves from We Are Memory Keepers. They are a bit difficult to get hold of now, but I really like them for 6x6 background stamps, and I just label the top of those. Then I have a container with all of my large stamp sets in, so the larger ones from like Hero Arts or MFT. I then have rubber stamps, so the ones from Purple Onion Designs or Stamping Bella. And then I have more background stamps from various different companies on the right hand side. This shelf here, these containers, the acrylic ones are from Muji. Unfortunately, they have discontinued them. I'm really upset because I really love these. But these hold my clearly besotted stamps. And then I have more containers from Ikea. These ones hold like stamps that I'm going to be using at that moment in time. So I have my Hero Arts My Monthly Hero Kits, the latest release from Hero Arts, and then Guest Design one. So once I've used the stamps, then I put them away, but they're quite good just to grab these boxes, take to my desk when I need to. And then on the other side I have any new items that I've purchased, and then also another one for clearly besotted. Moving down, these are all my other brands of stamps. So I have them in manufacturer order. I just find that it works well for me that way, but I know a lot of people like to do them in categories, so whatever works best for you. But as I say, manufacturer seems to work well for me. I do have them divided. I use plastic folders for that and just cut them down and label them at the top. Just have a piece of white cardstock behind it just so it looks a bit prettier. And then this is how I store my stamps. They are in Avery Elle stamp and die pockets. I just label the top, and then if I have a coordinating die I pop them behind. And then I do have a container on the right hand side with any what I call various. So this is stamps from different companies where I only have a couple of their stamps. Moving down, more boxes from Ikea. These ones hold my Hero Arts stamps. I am on the creative team like Clearly Besotted, so I do have a lot of their stamps. And again, I just have them divided. And then in the gaps at the side, I have my punch boards. I have a pocket with some backgrounds in that I have made as well. And then on the other side, I have my Tim Holtz stamping platform, again in a nice little pouch from my friend Ruth. And then these containers are from Crafter's Companion, and this is how I store my dies. So any kind of standalone dies, I have them in these containers here, these binders. I just have them on the sheets. I add some magnetic sheet onto the pages, and then I can just flip through and see what I have. Ordinarily they don't tend to come off, but the way I'm flipping through here on camera, they are kind of moving a bit, but they're quite easy just to get on and off. They do become quite heavy, the individual binders, but I find that it's a good way personally for me to store my dies. Next is all my 8.5 by 11 cardstock, so I have them in containers from Muji. And then I just have a divider. This is the piece of the actual coloured cardstock, and I just label the top. And then the cardstock itself are in Ziploc bags, and I just cut the top off of them and just have all of the cardstock and the scraps and everything like that all in the one pouch. And then I just have some other types of cardstock at the end. Moving down to the bottom shelf, I have spray adhesives and Copic cleaner and rubbing alcohol, that type of thing. And then I have all of my patterned paper. So again, I have them divided with the plastic folders, and then the paper itself, if it comes as a pad or as separate sheets, I just have them in a plastic sleeve, and I like to just keep everything together, all the scraps and everything like that. And I have some glitter paper, speciality paper, and some Yupo paper there as well. And in the little gap here, I have a mini dustpan and brush, and then I have my die cutting machines, my manual die cutting machines, and then all of the cutting plates and everything like that for those. Next to the unit, I have these two units, and these are from the Best Organiser. They are wood on the outside, and then they have plastic drawers. You can also get paper trays and things like that, and as you can see, all of the drawers are different depths, and what's really great is that you can just mix and match them as you need to. So I do often change what I have in here, so it's really nice that I can just change that about. I have various different binders here on the top with my stencils and my swatches, and then I have a paper holder with my 12 by 12 cardstock, and then I just have a few catalogues at the front. This is how I store my swatches in these binders from Simple Stories. I do have a separate video that I will link to. I use the Jennifer Maguire method for my swatches. And then for my stencils, they are just in individual sleeves in this, again, the binders from Simple Stories. And again, I do have a separate video on my stencil storage, and I will link that down below as well. The first drawer of this unit holds Memento ink pads. These are just the mini ones. And then this is some older ink pads. These are chalk ink pads and also some Brilliance ink pads. The next one here is paper tray ink cubes. They are now known as inked paper. The next one down holds various different brands of mini ink cubes. I have some Altenew, some Lawn Fawn, some Nuvo hybrid ones. And it is a bit difficult to see here, but I've taken the inserts from the Tim Holtz mini distress ink tins, and I've just stuck them in there with some removable adhesive. And that helps just so that the ink cubes don't sort of move around too much in the drawer. The next drawer down is various different types of other ink pads that I use quite often, so other kind of black ink pads, some embossing pads, the alcohol ink lift, or lift ink I should say. Moving down is Hero Arts ink cubes. So I just have all of those in there. I am on the creative team, like I said, so I do have quite a lot of their inks. And then these are the full-size Hero Arts inks as well. So I just have a combination of them both. I store them on their sides. I've had no problem whatsoever storing them on their sides. But I do have the pigment ones laying flat. So I have the ombre ones and some other kind of ones at the back. Next drawer down is some MFT inks. Again, I have any hybrid ones laying flat. And then some Simon Says Stamp inks. And then I have the refills for my reactive inks from Hero Arts. and they are in this drawer here. So I have the Distress Oxides that I have on the left hand side. Again, I like to keep these flat because they are a hybrid ink. And then the Hero Arts Reactive inks on the right hand side. And because I'm having to lay them flat, there is obviously less room in here, so I just have to stack them up, but that's okay, I don't have a problem with that. Moving down, I have embossing powders, so I have a lot of Hero Arts embossing powders. I've got some Wow embossing powders, some Tonic Nouveau ones, some Ranger ones, a couple of Altenew in there as well. Next one is my Nouveau drops. So I have all of those lined up. I know a lot of people like to add a drop of the Nouveau drop on the top, but I can see quite clearly what the colour is from kind of looking from above, which is quite helpful. And then I just have some of the Nouveau glitter there as well. The next cabinet down, I have some sequins in this top drawer here. I have them in the Elizabeth Ward containers, and I have various different sizes of those depending on how many sequins I have in the that particular colour. So I just have those all kind of lined up in colour order, and then I have ones that are more mixed type ones on the right hand side. The next drawer down is other type of embellishments, so like flat back pearls or the rhinestones or jewels or gems, however you like to call them, and like droplets and things like that. Some beads and googly eyes and confetti pieces, and then I have some wood veneer at the back as well, and then some in individual containers. The next drawer down here is glitter. Obviously glitter isn't very good for the environment, but I didn't want to throw it all away that I had already. I've had a lot of this glitter for a long time, so it's very difficult to know whether to use it or throw it away and it gets stuck in landfill. I'm not sure what the ethical thing really is to do with it, but I do really like it and I am going to try and use it, just not buy it anymore unless I buy eco-friendly stuff. The next drawer down is foil, so I have some deco foil, some Gemini foil press foil. The actual foil press itself is in my bedroom, I can't fit it in the craft room here. And then I have my We Are Memory Keepers foil quill. I just have the actual quill thing in the little pouch there, and I just have the foil underneath. These are all kind of older embellishments, so these are all Doodlebug. I have some pegs, some buttons, some brads, that type of thing. I don't really use them that much these days, but I do still like to have them. They look really, really pretty. Moving down, I have various different types of stickers. So I have a lot of Doodlebug stickers. I have a lot of alphabets and some thickers with numbers and things like that. The next drawer down is rub-ons. Does anyone actually still use rub-ons? I have kept them, but to be honest, I haven't used them in quite some time. I'm not sure whether to sell them or not, but they're in here for the time being. The next drawer down is all my felt, so I have this rolled up. It's the only drawer that I can't really put in colour order because the rolls are all different heights, so it's really just how I kind of managed to fit it in the drawer so that it closes. Most of this felt is paper tray ink or tailored expressions. I don't use felt that much on cards, but I like to make little plushies and things. Next up is all of my kind of adhesive jewels and gems and pearls and things like that. So all of the front section is Doodlebug. I have the sprinkles, I have the jewels and the pearls, and then I've got various different like enamel shapes and stuff at the back as well. And I do have some other brands in there, not many, but I do have a few. And then right at the bottom here, I have ribbon and twine. So all of the ribbon at the front is from Paper Tray Ink. And then I have quite a bit of Doodlebug twine at the back, and then some various different other twines like hemp twine and some metallic thread and that sort of thing. Again, I don't really use it on cards that much, but I do use it in packaging and on tags. To the side of the unit, I have a drawing board that I often use for colouring, and then my tripod for my camera. And then I have all of my Cricut cutting mats just hanging up again on a command hook. Again, I don't have my Cricut in the craft room because there's no space, but I do have that in my bedroom, and I just bring it in when I need it. And then last but not least, on the back of the door, I have another command hook, and that holds my aprons. So that was a look at my craft room for 2019. Links to the main products will be listed down below. Everything else will be listed over on my blog. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.